Welcome back to Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and the cryptids are cryptic as fuck. And the intros are interesting as fuck.
We
No,
try.
they're not. But they're varied.
Yeah.
um, if you would like, I have a fun fact that I kind of learned the other day, just reading, just as I like to do. You know me.
Okay.
But I thought it was kind of a fun fact that's appropriate to our podcast. It's the proper name for goose pimples. Goose pimples, goose flesh. Some
Yeah.
people might know it by different names. And that's why we drink. They took to calling it, like they joked that there was like a goosebump camera or something one time, so then they would just be like goose cam all the time, and it became like a running joke. Um, I guess the proper term for the goose flesh is horripilation.
Ugh. That's horrible. I don't like.
Horrifying, yes.
Oh,
It's great. I like it, but
that's like the
yeah,
worst word I've ever heard in my life.
kind of appropriate. It's like you're horrified and you're rippling. So put it all together. Ugh,
Yeah.
words that make sense. No.
That's so creepy. I don't like that.
All right. Well, I could have opened with true crime news, and that's not as fun.
No. Well.
But I hope
Um.
everyone's having a good week. It
Mhm.
is. I know it's episode 34.
Yeah.
What? I could tell you the date in the real world if you give me a second.
It'll
Oh, it's
be.
November 5th. It's. No,
No.
that's not true.
This will
I
post
lied.
on the 12th.
No, the 5th is
Killer
the one
couples.
that comes out in 2 days.
The one we haven't edited yet by my error.
Derek fixed that in post. There is no Derek.
Yeah.
Okay, no, it's November 12th.
Yeah.
And that means, Day of the Dead is over and all that stuff, but doesn't mean we're not going to carry on our spooky vibes. That's
Yeah.
just us all year long.
Mhm. I have some spooky.
Do you? Did you have anything spooky this week or anything that happened to you?
No. No.
Too bad. I mean, that's good.
Yeah, I'm not being haunted. Thank you.
Me neither, but did I ever tell you that when I was editing what probably turns out to be the exorcism episode, this episode is possessed?
Okay.
I heard something so weird that I isolated it and went and bothered my daughter and was like, I think this might be a ghost. It's not me and it's not Kelsey.
What was it?
I don't know. It's like when you listen on like Ghost Hunters or something, and it's just like, Mom, Mom. It's not a real word or anything, and then you're like,
Oh.
maybe they're saying, I don't know, muffin. Like they just make up whatever they want.
Yeah.
But I was like, it was weird because I was like talking kind of when it happened. That's why it was also hard to hear. But anyway,
Hmm.
honestly, Rain was like, it was probably me in my room across, because she's across the hall.
Probably.
And our house is very not soundproof, the opposite of soundproof. What's that one called? Um, yeah, sound carries. The acoustics are just great. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it's like. But anyway, other than that, we're good. It's been a
Yeah.
good time. We haven't recorded in like a week, so
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Mhm. I told you I had a surprise for you. It's
Oh
so
yeah.
I did 3 cryptids because I'm crazy like that. But I'll give you a heads up. My last cryptid, you know how we were
Yes.
talking about your stickers that your family sent you and how we couldn't figure out what the black one was?
Oh yes.
I figured out what it was.
Oh, because he's like a weird sort of Pegasus
Yeah.
with horns creature. Yeah.
So I'm gonna cover him. He's my third one.
Ooh.
But
Sorry, I didn't want to bury the lead there, so I just was like, yeah, well,
yeah.
tell them what
But
we're
I'm
talking
I'm
about.
positive I figured out what it was.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's very cute because these stickers that were purchased for us were very adorable cryptid stickers.
Yeah.
They're on our Instagram.
Mhm.
All right. Well, take it away, three cryptids,
Yeah.
Kelsey.
So first off, I sent you pictures of all the cryptids. Um, so if you
Nice. The
wanna,
pictures.
yeah, go on the drive. I like
Great.
made a file called I think Kelsey's Cryptids or something.
Oh yeah.
Like I
Kind
own
of
them.
has a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I recognize one name a little bit, and I love it.
Yeah, it's probably the one I'm thinking of, and the picture haunts me in my dreams. So,
Oh my God, our Instagram is gonna be. Oh yeah,
yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah. So if you want to
Oh
open the
my.
first one, number one,
Okay.
we're going to talk about a cryptid called the Snallygaster.
Oh my
Because
God,
I'm
just picture it in like a British, the Snolligasta.
Yeah, well, this thing just is awful. It's like part bat, octopus, flying cyclops with talons and some described tentacles coming
Yep.
out of its mouth. It's just fucked up. Uh,
Right. Sort of even claw-like
yeah,
Edward Scissorhands hands. Yep,
yeah.
I see that one.
So the Snallygaster is an American folklore, and it's described as a bird reptile chimera with origins found in the superstitions of early German immigrants that were coming over to America.
Oh.
Yeah.
It okay. Oh, it just came over on the ships? Oh my God.
No, like the immigrants brought the superstitions with them.
To America.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the immigrants started settling in Frederick County in the 1730s, and the community pretty quickly started reporting that they were being terrorized by a monster they called, oh my god, I should have looked up the pronunciation. The Schnellergeist, which they called the Quick Ghost in English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Schnellergeist. Yeah,
yeah.
sounds about right.
So they
Because
described
Geist is
it,
ghost. Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense.
They described it as half reptile and half bird with a metallic beak that was lined with sharp teeth, and occasionally it was also reported to have octopus like tentacles that hung out of its mouth, which is
I'll have
gross.
to send you a picture because it kind of looks like this weird dragon statue that we bought for Rain, but it has a reptile tail. It doesn't have any legs or anything. It just ends in this long sinew. I'm like looking at it right
Yeah,
now, being like, ew, this looks like what you're describing.
creepy.
This is not a dragon, it's a snallygaster.
Yeah, maybe. Uh, so it would swoop down silently from the sky and it would carry off its victims, like with the tentacles, it would pick you up. And some sightings say it even drank the blood of its victims.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Just what we need, tentacles and blood sucking.
yeah. The community in the 1730s used a seven-pointed star, and they like painted this on the sides of barns and stuff to reportedly keep the snallygaster away. And there's reports that in Frederick County that on local barns there's still like these seven-pointed stars can be found painted on barns, which is pretty cool. Like
Wow.
300 years later.
Now, I've seen stars on the outside of homes just as kind of a, more of a decoration. Usually, I believe it's just a regular five-pointed,
Yeah,
but maybe that's because I thought this seven-pointed, you said?
yeah.
Okay, maybe not the seven-pointed. Maybe that's not the one I'm thinking of. Seven-pointed might be highlighted in Game of Thrones or something, but
Hmm.
what's the one that was that's associated with Jewish people?
I think that's 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that's interesting that there's like
Yeah.
a specific star. That's really cool.
So, some reports say that there was a resurgence of like sightings of the Snallygaster and people talking about it in the 1800s, and that people were using it as a way to scare slaves who were thinking about running away, kind of by telling them that the Snallygaster would get them out of like the woods or if they ran away or anything, if they were outside at night, essentially.
Aw, like they're
Yeah.
bad kids that you have to scare.
Yeah. So that was kind of sad. Um,
Yeah, that's mean.
yeah. In the 1900s, though, sightings were reported again in Frederick County, Maryland, as well as it at this time expanded to include Washington, D.C., and the metro area, which is pretty
Wow.
crazy.
Sorry, yeah, that's a big reach.
Yeah. So, newspaper accounts at this time of the Snallygaster sightings ran from February to March of 1909. And they described encounters with the beast with, quote, enormous wings, a long pointed bill, claws like steel hooks, and an eye in the center of its forehead. Yeah, just so
Why
creepy.
all of the things?
Yeah, all the creepy things.
Yeah, at least a cyclops just like otherwise just kind of looks like a big giant man.
Yeah, right?
He doesn't also have tentacles.
Yeah. He's the Kraken Bat Cyclops man. Um,
Yeah, and then you're like, are all the tentacles able to suck at you?
I don't know. It's like terrible. Uh,
Yeah.
so reports in the newspapers at the time said it made, quote, like screeches like, quote, a locomotive whistle. Yeah. So it was just screaming at people. Um, these newspaper reports were causing a huge amount of publicity, and even the Smithsonian Institution was offering a reward for the capture of the creature.
Reward for their capture.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to really listen there because the Oilers just scored, and by the sounds of it, it was my favorite one, Leon. But
Oh,
I just heard woohoo and I got really distracted. Um, they captured the creature.
they were offering a reward for the capture.
Mm.
And
Oh,
there's
okay.
even
Well, that's
reports,
interesting.
yeah, there's even reports that President Roosevelt even thought about delaying an African safari he was supposed to go on to hunt for the Snallygaster himself, like personally.
Wait, is Roosevelt the president? Because one of them was even like interested and visited Oak Island. I'll have to confirm. But
Mm.
when you say Roosevelt, I was like, was that the one?
I don't
That's
know.
into the kind of weird and unusual things.
Yeah.
Weird.
Unfortunately, like this string of newspaper sightings in 1909 from February to March were later revealed to be a hoax actually put on by the newspaper in an effort to increase readership of the newspaper at the time.
Oh
So
no.
some of the descriptions were invented by the newspaper using a mixture of German folklore. In the German folklore, they had creatures or creatures like dragons and stuff that they believe snatched children and livestock, and they mixed these folklore creatures with other creature sightings that were happening in the area as well in 1909.
Right. I've heard of similar things.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, someone wrote about it, and it might as well be the same as being passed down by, orally, as we are doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
no.
but like however, so the sightings in 1909, even though they were pretty much a hoax, there were sightings 300 years before or 200 years before that, and there were sightings 23 years later in 1932, once again in Frederick County. And the Snallygaster was described as having tentacles and being able to change its size, shape, and color at will.
Oh, nice. Like a
Yeah.
chameleon.
Yeah, a flying chameleon now. Even better.
Also, yeah, even though there's been a hoax about it, that reminds me kind of this surgeon's photo, as it's called, at Nessie.
Yeah.
Because, like, that one is known to be a hoax, but that's, like, not the only sighting. There's, like, stories of times where people watched something in the water and, like, a group of people for, like, upwards of, up to, like, 30 minutes and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we talked about it on here. I can't remember.
Maybe.
On our Cryptids by Sea.
Probably.
Yeah, I know I talked about Nessie, so yeah, it's just crazy.
So so with this sighting, they said that in 1932 it didn't attempt to take anyone, as most of the residents had like run for cover or hid inside their houses. Somehow, it came out to the public that they believed together that the Snallygaster could only live for about 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, somehow they came to that conclusion, and they believed that,
He was a smoker.
yeah, they believed that this creature from 1932 was the offspring of the one that was part of the hoax in 1909, because part of the hoax that the newspaper put out was that its eggs were found on like a cliffside. Yeah, and even though that was a hoax from the newspaper in 1932, people believed that the egg part was real, I guess, and this had hatched and now had come back in 1932.
Well, the ocean. I saw a weird thing the other day where the ocean made the ice into egg-like shapes. Because it just rolled it around, like it rolls around, rocks and
Yeah.
sea glass and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
gonna smooth everything eventually.
I could see how people would invent, also a more mythological explanation for that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck? Ocean eggs.
Yeah.
What is this?
Um,
Yeah.
so since the Snallygaster appears so rarely, the Middletown Valley Register requested that local residents that saw the creature provide an accurate and detailed description for possible scientific purposes, which I love.
Possible scientific
Yeah.
purposes.
Uh,
All right then.
so two residents, a Charles F. Martin and Edward M.L. Leiter, were able to provide the necessary information when they saw it while driving a truck on the National Pike just east of Braddock Heights, and they spotted the Snallygaster flying about 25 feet overhead, and they, based on their descriptions that were published in the newspaper the next week, they like confirmed the descriptions of the animal.
Okay, so
Yeah.
everybody saw the same
Yeah.
thing. Oof,
So
pretty nuts.
I think this is the same sighting. The like multiple sources I used didn't really have dates for this. I think this is still from 1930. So they said that the Snallygaster was seen flying near Frog Hollow in Washington County. When
Adorable.
Yeah, Frog Hollow is pretty great sounding. Um, so it was seen flying around when you're gonna love this. I thought this was hilarious. It became attracted to the aroma of a 2,500-gallon vat of moonshine,
Oh my god.
and it flew overhead of the vat of moonshine and became overwhelmed by the fumes and fell into the vat of moonshine and drowned.
I suppose you would.
Yeah.
Fumes.
Um, yeah. A short time later, two revenue agents arrived at the scene, and they were, quote, startled by the sight of the dead monster in the vat.
Revenue agents. Oh, are they trying to find contraband moonshine?
I'm not sure where it got this revenue people from. There was kind of no explanation in the sources I saw.
Right. Sounds like sailors.
Yeah.
Who drink any sort of, oh, that alcohol's for the doctor. No, no. Oh, and then they're like blind drunk, like literally. Oh, that's not good. Nope.
Yeah, so they show up to the vat of moonshine, they see the monster inside, and they decided to explode 500 pounds of dynamite right under the still for the moonshine. And that reportedly blew up the vat of moonshine along with the snallygaster. So it's gone. It's obliterated.
But would they do that?
Right?
That's suspicious.
Yeah, that seems kind of overkill. But that's what.
Honestly, yeah, I was reading Outlander, they never got rid of a corpse just because, or got rid of any brandy, or what was it? Brandy, creme de menthe, some sort of liqueur that had a corpse in it. But it's like, someone's gonna drink it, we'll just sell it to them.
Yeah.
Just because there's been a corpse in the cask, like, what's the matter?
That's so gross.
Extra flavor. It's got an earthy note to it.
Oh. Ew.
Okay, I'm done.
So.
Wait, what does he say on The Office? It's got an oaky afterbirth.
Oh. So gross. I hate that.
It's so gross.
Anyway, so the legacy of the snallygaster lives on through books about its history that have been released, as well as appearances in video games like Fallout. And
Wow.
the name snallygaster has been used for everything as far as band names. There's an annual beer festival, even an ice cream flavor, which is a mixture of peanut butter ice cream, caramel swirl, and peanut butter cups, along with pretzels.
You mean
And
it doesn't taste like a snallygaster?
I hope not. This is calamari ice cream, like, and
Charlie
bat.
the Chocolate Factory.
Ew.
Snowsberries taste like snowsberries.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't not say it.
So there's also a blended whiskey, and in the 2017 edition of the Harry Potter spin-off series Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the snallygaster was added to the book and was described as part bird, part reptile, and a relative of the
Yes.
okami. Okami?
That's why it sounds the most familiar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
it was said to have serrated steel fangs and a bulletproof hide, and it had been added to the book because it had gained some Muggle attention due to their natural curiosity, or due to its natural curiosity.
Right, and it's reptilian, but it's a
Yeah.
bird, but also, if I'm not mistaken, it was also the beast in the book where, like, their eggs were really precious and they got stolen because they were made out of silver. Is that.
I have no idea.
Those are good movies, Kelsey.
I know, but that's not like covered in the movies.
Oh, someone had the silver eggs, yeah. They were in a suitcase. They were made out of silver, but maybe it wasn't the snallygaster.
I don't know.
Okay, that explains why it sounded so familiar the whole time, and I was like, well, none
Yeah.
of those things you're mentioning are like what I think I remember it from.
Yeah.
But
Um,
Harry Potter.
yeah. Yeah, so it's part of the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them part.
Nice.
It's also been written about by many local newspapers, as well as the Baltimore Sun, National Geographic, and Time magazine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Prestigious.
I was like, National Geographic wrote about this? Like, and Time magazine?
Did it specify whether it was an April Fool's article?
No,
No.
it did not say that.
I mean, I don't know. Folklore, just so tied up in real stuff and supernatural, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird.
So that's the Snallygaster.
Wow. I just love the name of that one.
Yeah, like the first picture I put on the drive is like the first one I saw of it, and I was like, okay, that thing looks messed up. And then the second one with the like super octopus face and it's like holding a child in its tentacles. I'm like, that's just creepy. Um,
See, oh, okay. I just saw like big. I saw mostly the big wings and stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
there's the tentacle version.
Yeah.
Has like a
It's
bunch
like
of
the two
tentacles
different.
instead of a face.
Yeah, it's kind of the two different versions of it, I guess.
That's not great. I don't want a
No.
bird that has an octopus coming out of
Right?
its face that's going to eat me.
Yeah. Kind of the worst thing ever.
I like a good octopus. They're very smart,
Yes, they
but
are. They're so cool.
not
Um,
this one.
no.
Or you could call it a relative of that. No, no.
So that brings me to the second one, which I had to
I
talk
have no
about.
idea.
Yeah, I had to talk about because as soon as I saw the picture, I was like, I've seen this picture before, and it creeped me out from the first time I ever saw it as a kid. Um, and that's the Flatwoods Monster, um, aka the Braxton County Monster, aka the Phantom of Flatwoods. It's got a bunch of names.
Identity crisis.
Yeah,
Okay. I have heard of this one, but I don't know much.
yeah. This one's kind of interesting. So I thought I'd bring the aliens this time.
When you
So,
said something that you liked since you were a kid, I got scared for a minute and I was like, I kind of have liked some of the things that I talk about since I saw it in a book as a kid, and I was like, but we didn't cover the same thing.
no. No, this I probably didn't see it like that many years ago. It just creeped me out from the very first time I saw the picture. Um,
Okay, okay, I need to know. Yeah, this one's airborne, or like, yeah, what's it
yeah,
got
it
going on?
it hovers.
It's like
So,
the bumblebee of
yeah.
airborne cryptids.
So it's the Flatwoods Monster is an alleged extraterrestrial or cryptid that was sighted in the town of Flatwoods in Braxton County, West Virginia on September 12th, 1952. Long time ago. Um,
Oh,
yeah. At 7:15 p.m. on September 2nd, two brothers, Edward, who is 13, and his brother Fred May, who is 12, are with their friend Tommy Hire, who's 10, and they're, I guess, just playing outside, and they see a bright object like fly across the sky and land in Farmer G. Bailey Fisher's field nearby.
oh,
Um,
old Farmer Fisher.
yeah. So I guess they got kind of scared because they're all pretty young, and they ran back to Edward and Fred May's house, and they got uh, the brothers' like mother, Kathleen,
Yeah.
and Kathleen went and left like her sons and their friend at home and took three other boys, Neil Nunley, who's 14, Ronnie Shaver, 10, and 17-year-old Jean Lemon, who at the time, yeah, such a great name.
Okay.
Um,
No, but she just takes three other boys of varying ages. I'm sorry.
I know, I
I'm
thought
with
she was
it.
gonna take like older kids, but I mean,
One
one
of
of them's
them's
still
10.
10. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, but she did take 17-year-old Jean Lemon, who at the time was a National Guardsman. Um,
Oh.
so he's at least like capable, I guess.
Right.
And they went to try and find this object that they had seen or that had been witnessed like crashing into the field. So Jean's dog, like or Lemon's dog, ran ahead and it began barking. Before it like suddenly turned back around and returned to the group with its tail between its legs, and it was kind of scared.
Oh.
Yeah. Um,
Wow. I can't imagine seeing Fenrir do that. Like, imagine
right?
my big dog just, nope, nope.
Yeah, that would be
Wow.
pretty crazy if he did that.
Yeah.
The group walked about a quarter mile to the top of a hill where they saw a pulsating, quote, ball of fire that was about 50 feet to their right.
Oh,
Uh,
great.
At the time,
Where is this Skinwalker Ranch? No.
oh,
That's a different episode. We will do that.
at the time there was a pungent mist in the area that made their eyes and noses start burning. And Lemon saw two like small lights to the left of the object that was glowing, and it was sitting underneath a tree. So he kind of turned his flashlight on it, and this revealed the creature, who made a shrill, like hissing sound at the group before kind of gliding very quickly towards them. And then just before it,
God.
yeah, just before it got to them, it like changed its direction and went zipping back towards the red light. That was like the ball of fire. And the group like freaked out and ran away in a panic.
Yeah, I suppose you would.
Yeah. So if you don't,
can't even fight it if that's your response.
no. So yeah, pictures 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 pretty much just go through different like illustrations in a newspaper article about what they saw.
No.
Picture 3 is the one that like haunts my dreams.
It
So
says giant eyeballs.
yeah, I don't, and its claws. I don't like it. So
Yes, it also looks like it's wearing a little dress.
it doesn't it? It's very like nun attire.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But imagine that thing like
part makes me
floating,
giggle, but, like, yes.
zipping at you. Whoa.
Oh no, thank you.
Yeah. Fuck no.
Not gliding.
Yeah, no thank
fast or slow.
you. Right?
Oh my god.
So when the group returned to Kathleen's house, they called local sheriff Robert Carr and Lee Stewart, who was the co-owner of the local newspaper. Stewart interviewed all of the like groups, so the like Kathleen's sons who saw the object crash, and then Kathleen and Lemon, along with the other boys who like saw the creature itself. And then after interviewing them all, he, like Stewart, the reporter, went with Lemon that night back to the location of the crash and reported that there was, quote, there was a sickening burnt metallic odor still prevailing.
Ooh. Specific also.
Yeah. Sheriff...
Also, it kind of sounds like a Stranger Things episode.
Right?
It's like all these kids and the mom.
Yeah.
Some other town's person is involved.
It's like, you gotta believe me.
Where are the Eggos and the Montauk Project experiments on children?
Yeah. Oh my god.
We've been watching Stranger Things with Rain because she hasn't seen it.
Oh really? Wow.
Yes, yeah. And she had to stay home, like, not feeling very well today, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were watching some of it, Pat and her.
Nice.
Yeah. Eggos.
So Sheriff Carr and his deputy Burnell Long searched the area separately, but they both reported finding no trace of the encounter. So the sheriff tried to investigate. The next morning, Lee Stewart of the newspaper visited the site once again, and this time he saw long tracks in the mud along with a thick black liquid. And he immediately reported them as being possible signs of a flying saucer that had landed, based on the premise that the area that this was found had not been subject to vehicle traffic for at least a year.
And he found all that substance. I was gonna say oil, that is.
And like,
thick black.
Yeah, and like tracks in the mud, I guess. But it was later kind of figured out and revealed that the tracks most likely belonged to the Chevy pickup truck that was driven by a local Max Lockard, who had gone to the site to look for the creature just like a couple hours before Stewart had returned the next morning. So he had probably heard about it during the night, and then he went himself and then when the newspaper guy returned the next morning, he saw these tracks.
Okay. I wonder, because when we said it looks like it's like a nun, because it almost looks like it has like this headpiece thing.
Yeah.
That looks like this big, comes to a point like a big spade, like on a set of
Yeah.
deck of cards almost.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, could that not be like some sort of like alien headpiece, or not headpiece, but like, you know what I mean, like spacesuit helmet?
Yeah, that's why they think it's either a cryptid or an alien.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just pictures are entrancing me.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I said that. That was my first sentence.
Okay.
So there's quotes from the local newspaper reporting afterwards, quote, 7 Braxton County residents on Saturday reported seeing a 10-foot Frankenstein-like monster in the hills above Flatwoods. The article continues saying Lemon screamed and fell backwards and said, quote, when he saw a 10-foot monster with a blood red body and a green face that seemed to glow, and that he said it may have had claws for hands.
Blood red body. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So after the event, Mr. William and Donna Smith, who were investigators associated with Civilian Saucer Investigation, they obtained a number of accounts from witnesses who claimed to have experienced a similar or related phenomena, like not just in West Virginia area of this like encounter, but like all over. These accounts included the story of a mother and her 21-year-old daughter who claimed to have encountered a creature with the same appearance and odor a week prior to the September 12th incident, and the encounter reportedly affected the daughter so badly that she was confined to Clarksburg Hospital for about 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, have to be something crazy going on. I mean, if I saw that thing in the woods, I'd be in a hospital. Like, I'd be like, give me the drugs, put me in a coma. I wouldn't be able to go to sleep by myself.
Please tell me I'm living in a simulation. Then I can pretend this isn't the reality.
Yeah, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the pair also gathered a statement from the mother of Eugene Lemon, in which she said that at the approximate time of the crash, her house had been violently shaken and her radio had cut out for about 45 minutes. And there was also a report they collected from the director of the local board of education, in which he claimed to have seen a flying saucer taking off at about 6:30 a.m. on the morning of September 13th, which was the morning after the creature was sighted, like September 12th at night.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, a few hours later. The Flatwoods monster has not been seen since this September 1952, like, witnessing. But at that time it was seen by 6 boys, a mom, and a dog. I just liked those quotes. Like, that's cute.
Weird. So it's still only that 1 year.
Yeah, it was never seen again. The encounter was put into local newspapers and made the national news, with Kathleen and Jean Lemon even flying to New York to be interviewed for, like, CBS. So the, like, newspaper one, like, picture 6 of, like, the people standing, that's Eugene Lemon and Kathleen May, and their, like, sketch that they made of what it looked like and how tall it was, like, compared to how tall they were. Because it was, like, 10 feet tall, they said.
Yeah, that is insane.
Yeah.
If it was that big.
Mm-hmm.
That's bigger than a Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it, a frost giant? I don't know. Sorry. I don't know if those are real in lore, but they're real in Marvel lore. So they might be.
So these things prompted an investigation even by the U.S. Air Force UFO Inquiry. And that was included in part of Project Blue Book, where Project Blue Book, they were dispatching a handful of investigators to go around the country and look into claims of UFOs. So this was looked
Right.
into as that part of that project. Uh,
So cool that they actually did that.
yeah. It also became part of like a local legend with tourists visiting every year to the village that's actually less than like 300 people for their population. It's pretty small. Uh,
Oh, it's
yeah.
interesting how UFO sightings and stuff cluster and stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Different
Yeah, it tends to
areas.
be like so many of it seems to be like such smaller, like rural places.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're like just smart. Yeah, because then also lately we've seen a lot of things where they like zip into the ocean and stuff too.
Yeah.
So you're like, you just target more secluded areas if you can.
Yeah. They're not going to be like, I'm going to land in the middle of like Times Square, New York. Like,
No, but also there's a I don't know if it's a Treehouse of Horror, but a Simpsons one where the aliens put Homer back on Earth after they've abducted him, and then they put him back in his fishing boat, and then they spray him with rum from
oh
the
my.
spaceship. Like,
Yeah.
no one's gonna believe you, Rummy. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, so they have a lot of tourism that comes, people that want to walk through the forest. As well, they actually have a monster museum, like the Flatwoods Monster Museum that they have set up.
Oh,
Yeah.
cute.
Uh, Lee Stewart said, quote, those people were the most scared people I've ever seen. End quote. That was in a 1952 news story. And Stewart himself had marched up the hill with a shotgun after witnesses told him what they saw. So I assume that's when he went with Lemon. Um, and then he says, quote, people don't make up that kind of story like that quickly.
Hmm. No, not usually.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll take
But
it.
there are some people that doubt it. They say that the police at the time laughed off all the reports as like a hysteria going through the community, and that they said the so called monster had even grown from 17 feet tall to, or had grown from 7 feet tall to 17 feet tall in about 24 hours through like the community. Yeah.
Classic. That's like where I'm from, like, Maritimes, of course, being on the water, all those provinces, like lots of fishing and stuff, and then like it's the old whatever where people, oh yeah, the fish got bigger and bigger every time it's retold. Like, of course that
Mm-hmm.
stuff happens, and
Yeah.
game of telephone and whatever. Yeah. It
Um,
doesn't mean the kernel of truth isn't in there.
yeah. So that brings me to the last one. So, it actually kind of ties back to the Snallygaster. So this one also was witnessed in 1909 at almost the exact same time that people were witnessing or saying these hoax in the newspaper. So these were both happening in kind of the same area, which is pretty interesting. And this is the Jersey
In
Devil.
Europe. Oh,
Um,
sorry.
yeah, it's the Jersey Devil, aka the Leeds Devil.
Right. I mean, that
So
one is like, I've definitely heard the name.
yeah, I had too, but when I saw pictures of it, I'm like, like, especially if you look on the eighth picture on the drive, that really looks like the sticker you have.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
he's got
Why
like
did I
the
think? I thought it
horns.
was in New Jersey, though. I honestly thought I had seen people investigating New Jersey for the Jersey Devil, so now
It
I'm all
is.
confused.
This is.
Well, wait, you said Leeds, didn't you? Or did I just see
Yeah,
that
he's
on
called the. He's also called the Leeds Devil.
No, but I thought, like, the New Jersey, as in the state of New Jersey.
This is he's witnessed in the southern New Jersey.
Oh, because Leeds is also in
Yeah.
England, so then I was confused.
No, Leeds is like something different. It doesn't have to do with the location.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm not good when I can see things. I just start looking at them. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll cut this. Um, yeah,
So,
it. Oh, sorry. I
oh
was
no,
gonna say, yeah, it does look like the sticker a lot
right?
with the horns and
When I
red.
saw it, I was like, is that a Lana sticker? And I even went to Instagram and like brought up the picture you had posted on Instagram of your stickers, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah. I did not because I couldn't recognize it. I don't think any of
Yeah.
us did from looking at it. All
Yeah.
the other ones are pretty recognizable as the abominable snowman,
Yeah.
chupacabra, mothman, and Nessie. But this one, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
A dark Pegasus that had sex with a goat.
Yeah. That's exactly what this thing is. So, um, it's so the Jersey Devil or the Leeds Devil is a legendary creature or cryptid that inhabits the pine barrens of southern New Jersey.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
this is sounding familiar. The Pine Barrens. Mm-hmm.
In interestingly enough, in it was designated in 1938 as the country's only state demon.
Nice.
And it's described as a flying biped with hooves, but there's like many different variations. And it has become a local figure and even was used to name the New Jersey National Hockey League the New Jersey Devils.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
that's where I hear it also.
Yeah.
Right. The Jersey Devils. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So the
We're not
legend,
that scared of them, though.
no. The legend has many variations, but some attribute the creature to a woman named Miss Leeds. That's why it's the Leeds Devil. Um,
Misleads.
yeah.
Cute. It's a pretty double entendre.
She was a witch, and according to one version, Miss Leeds was so upset that she was pregnant with another child that after giving birth to her 13th child, she exclaimed, quote, I'm tired of children, let the devil take this one.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Just like, fuck it all. I
yeah,
have had 12 of these.
I
Not cheaper by the dozen, more expensive by
yeah.
the dozen. I
Uh
mean, hell, that's a lot of kids. I
yeah,
would be
13th.
fucking fed
Um
up too.
so once yeah, what was once a human child immediately transformed into a winged monstrosity, and it reportedly ate all of the other children that she had had and then flew out through the chimney like into the woods.
Just buggered off.
Yeah.
See ya.
Um yeah, so in the different versions of the legend, there's differing in date of the birth and the degree of the like devil's disfigurement, I guess the Jersey Devil. In some stories, it's merely a human child which misleads confined to her cellar or attic, and only to have like it end up escaping out into the woods. And another one of the legends attributes the devil's birth to a gypsy curse that was placed upon a selfish young woman who refused to give the gypsy food or shelter.
What?
Yeah, there's like
Okay.
a
Okay.
bunch. There's
Right, I
also,
just was like, I wasn't expecting that one. I mean, the
yeah,
other one, I can see where people come up with things if they have like deformed children and they didn't understand why, then they would say
yeah,
something happened with the devil, or like if there was like a dwarf or a little person, they would be like, oh, they'd be like, oh, so, you know, there's something their mother did or had sex with the devil. Like, just so many weird
yeah,
superstitions and things that they'd be like, I can't explain this, so I'm gonna say it was this.
yeah. And then they did used to leave kids like that out in the woods to pretty much die. I mean,
Right. It's
yeah,
like the whole changeling thing, which I think we talked about a little bit with the witches one.
I think so, maybe. Um,
You are getting to that point where it's like it's been so long since the first episode. I
no,
know.
because I remember talking about the changelings. I don't remember talking about that with the witches one. I thought we, I thought that was in like Death Omens or something like the first one.
Well, could have been.
Yeah. Um, so there's other tales that suggest Leeds herself was a witch or that she was cursed by locals for having an affair with a British soldier.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just
sure
all
she
over the
wasn't the only
place.
one.
The Shords house, which is a log cabin within the Pine Barrens, was also reputed to be the birthplace of the devil. And only ruins of the foundation of that house and a few other parts of it actually still exist today. And some legends say he was a companion. This was just kind of out there, but I thought it was funny. Some legends say the devil or the Jersey Devil is a companion to a headless pirate, a ghost woman, or even a mermaid. Because why not?
Are they all headless?
I don't know. I think just
Oh my
I think
lord.
just the pirate is.
It's funny because I had to post the headless thing for we talked about in the Sam Hay
Yeah.
episode. Samhain, the one that came out before Halloween,
Yeah.
and I told you I'd post that thing with the headless, and then
Yes,
somebody
I
people
saw it.
were like,
So funny.
yeah. I think some people thought we were covering Sleepy Hollow, and then I'm like, well, yeah, no, seems like there's a whole herd of horse cryptids and headless cryptids.
Yeah.
Headless horseman cryptids. I never realized.
Yeah.
We could do a whole episode on it, guys.
Probably. So there's another description of the Jersey Devil that's well known by local people in South Jersey. So they believe that a woman in South Jersey was having her first baby and she wanted him to be perfect, but when the baby was born, it was apparently the most ugly looking baby that anyone had ever seen. And the mother was so upset, she said, quote, "This isn't my son, this is the devil's son. May God give the thing back to him." And after saying this, she threw her son into the river where he died. And now the
God.
river is said to be haunted by the devil, and many people have died there, according to this story, I guess. And it said that there's an unknown source which sucks air into it, like from under a rock, and when people swim near that area, they get like sucked under the rock from like it sucking the air through the water. And it like
Okay.
kind of sucks them under the rock and holds them there until they die. And once they're dead, then they're let go and the body just floats back up to the top of the surface of the water.
Okay, yeah, that sounds not as natural.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Uh,
Interesting.
yeah. So
It's like
there's,
the part where, like, yeah, the forces of water can be very compelling on a human body, and I could
oh
see
yeah,
how you could be, yeah, you could be
whirlpools and
held down
everything.
and drowned easily. Yeah, but like then it like lets you back up. It's like what? Weird.
Um, yeah. So I have a bunch of sightings of the Jersey Devil. Um, so legend says that a Commodore, uh, Stephen Decatur, he saw,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, I'm just
something
thinking
fancy.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
He saw the flying creature while at the Hanover Mill works while inspecting cannonballs that he was having forged. Um, so when they saw the creature flying overhead, they apparently fired a cannonball at it, but it ended up getting away untouched, so I guess they missed. And
Whoops.
yeah,
Good job, boys.
And then Joseph Bonaparte, the eldest brother of Napoleon, is also said to have seen the Jersey Devil while at his Jersey state in 1820.
Oh, like he had a home in
Yeah,
New
he
Jersey?
had like one of,
What?
yeah, Joseph Bonaparte, Napoleon's
Wow.
oldest brother, had, yeah, he had a house in Jersey state, I guess. So he reportedly saw the Jersey Devil. Uh,
The little known Bonaparte brother.
yeah, the Jersey Devil was blamed for killing livestock, leaving strange tracks and footprints, and unusual sounds in the 1800s. And by the early 1900s, sightings of the creature and its tracks continued with a period of sightings between January 16th and the 23rd of 1909. Um,
What?
yeah.
1 week.
Yeah, this is like an intense week. It's like crazy. So
It's
this
like
is,
Bonaparte saw it once. He didn't
yeah,
have anything to say on it. Then a bunch of people did, and then nothing for a while. No.
yeah, nothing for 100 years.
For 100 years. Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is from Wikipedia. They had like outlined a timeline with like quotes and stuff. It's pretty good. Um, so on the 16th of January, which was a Saturday, it was seen flying over Woodbury. On the next day in Bristol, Pennsylvania, several people saw the creature and tracks were found in the snow the following day. On Monday in Burlington, there was a bunch of strange tracks that seemed to defy logic. They were found on rooftops, and others seemed to just like leave and disappear,
Oh,
like
yeah.
just stop randomly. And several other towns nearby also found similar footprints on the roofs and that just stopped abruptly.
As if it just took off flying.
Yeah, reindeer. On Tuesday, a Nelson Evans and his wife in Colchester found the devil outside their window at 12:30 a.m. And Mr. Evans gave the following account, quote, "It was about 3 feet and a half high, with a head like a collie dog and a face like a horse. It had a long neck, wings about 2 feet long, and its back legs were like those of a crane, and it had horse's hooves. It walked on its back legs and held up two short front legs with paws on them. It didn't use the front legs at all while we were watching. My wife and I were scared, I tell you, but I managed to open the window and say shoo, and it turned around, barked at me, and flew away."
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it does work for ghosts sometimes. Why not? Why
Shoo.
not cryptid?
Shoo. Um, so, two hunters in the area also tracked the devil's seemingly impossible trail for about 20 miles. And the trail appeared to jump fences and squeeze under 8-inch gaps. And sightings were also reported the same day in several other towns. On the 20th of January, on Wednesday, in Haddonfield and Collingswood, groups were formed to find the devil, and they watched him fly over Moorestown, where he was later sighted by at least two more people.
Wait, 20th of January?
Yeah.
That's pretty close to your birthday.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like Haddonfield or Haddonsfield is from Halloween, Michael Myers.
I have no idea.
Yeah. It's just a lot of things coming up in this.
Yeah. So on the 21st of January, Thursday, the Jersey Devil attacked a trolley car in Haddon Heights, but was chased off. Trolley cars in several other towns began to, like, keep armed guards on standby. There was several poultry farmers who found their chickens dead, and the Jersey Devil was reported to have walked into an electric rail in Clayton. But if this did happen, it didn't end up like killing or hurting the creature.
Oh
Uh,
my god.
yeah.
Some of those didn't have many details. It's like,
No.
wait, what? You chased the one off? What?
Yeah, this is all what I
Oh.
had in Wikipedia, like word for word. I didn't change any of this.
Oh.
Um, a telegraph worker near Atlantic City claimed that he shot the Jersey Devil and watched him limp into the woods. It was reported he wasn't phased much, but because he continued his assault, and the Jersey Devil then visited Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and West Collingswood, New Jersey, where he was reportedly hosed by the local fire department.
Okay.
Just,
So we think he went on a tour.
yeah, he was really busy this week. Just like, um, so he also prepared to attack nearby people who threw whatever they could find at him. Right when he was about to strike, he ended up flying away, and he emerged later in Camden and injured a dog, ripping a chunk of flesh as the dog's horrified owner looked on. And this is the first like Jersey Devil attack on a living creature that was witnessed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the 22nd of January, the last day of sightings, it says by now many towns were in panic and businesses and schools closed for fear of the creature. It was, however, only seen a few times that day and did not attack anything. Um,
Well, that's good.
yeah. So then I just have pretty much a bunch of quotes of people describing it, and they all kind of describe it slightly differently. So on January 16th, EW minister in Bristol said, quote, I looked out upon the Delaware and saw flying diagonally across what appeared to be a large crane, but which was emitting a glow like a firefly. Its head resembled that of a ram with curled horns, and its long, thick neck was thrust forward in flight. It had long, thin wings and short legs, and then the front legs were shorter than the hind. George Snyder, who sighted it on January 20th of 1909, said, quote, it was 3 feet high, with long black hair over its entire body, arms and hands like a monkey, its face like a dog. Yeah. It had split hooves and a tail that was a foot long. Um,
Yeah, the picture that you had has like it. Yeah, the arms and
yeah.
hands are a little bit more human, and rather than having hooves, which my little cute little cryptid sticker has like hooves, but it's
Yeah.
just they're intentionally cute cryptids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, then there's uh one here from Louis Boger, who saw it on September 21st, 1909, and he says, quote, in general appearance it resembled a kangaroo. So now it's a kangaroo. Um, flying, I guess. It has a long neck, and from what glimpse I got of its head, its features are hideous. It has wings of a fairly good size, and of course, in the darkness, it looked black. Its legs were long and somewhat slender, and were held in such a position as a swan when it's flying. It looked to be about 4 feet high. Another description from a Howard Campbell, who claimed to have shot at it near Atlantic City on January 21st, 1909, says, quote, as nearly as I can describe the terror, it had the head of a horse, the wings of a bat, and a tail like a rat's, only longer. I don't like that one. Um,
Also, if it had the same size as a rat and it was the size of a horse, that would be a really small tail.
yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the head of a horse, tiny wings like a bat, a tiny rat's tail, and then
Yeah.
goat legs. Like, yeah. So while the descriptions vary, several factors remain fairly consistent. It's commonly described as having a long neck with wings and hooves. It's often said to have a horse-like head and tail, and the height of the creature varies among sighting from about 3 feet to more than 7 feet tall in some sightings. But most sightings report that the creature has glowing bright red eyes and it can emit a high human-like scream.
No.
Yeah, I don't like that
Okay.
either. That's like some like Wendigo stuff going on.
Yeah.
So sightings did slow after 1909, however they didn't stop. In 1957, the reported corpse of the Jersey Devil was claimed to have been found. I tried looking it up, but I couldn't really find more information about that. It was obviously just a hoax, really. In 1951, a local boy claimed he saw a humanoid monster and heard screams. In 1960, merchants around Camden offered a $10,000 reward for the Jersey Devil's capture and said that they would even build a private zoo for it to like house it if it was captured alive.
Wow.
The last sighting I could find was in 1991 when a pizza delivery man described an encounter with a white horse-like creature. But most of the other descriptions say it's black in color. So that might be something different.
You get different colored horses, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the belief that the Jersey Devil is real is based on records of concrete occurrences. Reliable people, including police, government officials, businessmen, and many other have witnessed the devil's activities. Ooh.
Okay, yeah. says the internet.
Yeah, says the internet. Yeah.
Oh
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure the one sticker you have, I think it's the Jersey Devil. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Probably someone told me that, but I didn't remember.
Yeah. But, yeah, so that's my 3 cryptids.
It was a good trilogy.
Yeah.
A trifecta.
A trifecta. I like that.
A trifecta. Oh, a triptych. Is... No, not the... Not the kinds like from work.
I was gonna say.
There's a word. You're thinking of the ones that were like Google Maps for people.
Yeah.
But no, I've heard Pineapple Pizza Pod refer to it as a triptych when they do a 3-parter on like a different cryptid or area or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah, it's like spelled with a Y. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
There's like a 3-piece like form of artwork or like painting or something. Usually is what it means. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That was beautiful. That was
Thank you.
beautiful.
I'm like, I had fun. I had them dying in vats of moonshine and...
Oh Lord, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Also, way to cover a really like iconic one in the Jersey Devil.
Yeah. I'm like, I've heard the Jersey Devil before, but I didn't really know anything about it. So that was pretty cool.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Hello, twisted humans! Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. We're bringing the most intense stories that will keep you up at night.
Join us every Tuesday for a glass of wine and a dose of true crime. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is
Twisted and Uncorked.
Alright. I am covering the Aswang.
Yeah.
Aswang. The Aswang? No, I'm not going to say it like that.
The ass. You have to
But
spell it for me because I want to look it up.
well, it is spelled like Aswang, but with one S.
Oh, Aswang.
Yes.
Aswang. I'm gonna click.
I
Oh, I don't.
believe-
I saw
Nope.
pictures of some
Nope.
girl. I did not like that.
No.
Oh,
Yes,
oh,
I believe some of the pictures are reminiscent of the one I mentioned earlier where I saw it in a book that we had as kids. That was, if not different cryptids, it was at least different kinds of like vampiric type creatures.
okay.
So, yes, this one, I remember seeing some form of this and it being like, that's disgusting, and it never left my head.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're interesting, yeah. And it's, yeah, I only did the one deep dive on these ones. They are from the Philippines, the folklore of the Philippines. Which, if you don't know how to spell it and you want to remember, you just type Philip Pines.
Philippines. Perfect.
And I was like, oh, I forgot how to do that, because then it immediately spell checked me when I started typing my notes, and I was like, damn it, I used to know how to spell this.
Yeah, I was bad for that. But work.
I think I learned that from a Filipino. But yeah, the Aswang is a nocturnal, flesh-eating, shape-shifting sort of cryptid.
Ugh.
It's got it all. And yeah, shape-shifting, so I might mention a little later, but it definitely could include, kind of be more of a catch-all term for different types of looking cryptids. Like, they are a
Oh, okay.
specific cryptid, but like, in the nature that something can be shape-shifted, I think, like,
Yeah.
they can appear different ways, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
The Aswang can look like normal people by day, but may have or display some different habits, like habits that might tip you off to what they are. They might be reclusive. I mean, who isn't these days? Because we have to stay inside.
Yeah.
But they might have also some magical tendencies or powers. And one thing I read said they could had some healing powers too. So
Oh, okay.
in their blending in, it's possible they're even doing some good for the community.
Doctors.
Oh God. A friend of mine's been watching that Dr. Death podcast / show, which
Ooh.
sounds, I know I've heard it's good, but like from the more descriptions of the one season, I was like, ooh, I've listened to a lot of true crime and that's rough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. We have so many things we want to cover. I don't know. Everything I think, I'm like, we should cover it.
I just found out about it because it has Joshua Jackson in it. That's all I care about.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
Which, speaking of which, you have lent me The Fringe, and I've still got to watch the rest of it. I have started, and
Yeah.
it is good so far.
How far did you guys get?
I still only watch the first one right now because
Oh,
they
that's
are long, and like we've been
The
watching a lot of horror movies, and I haven't got to it.
the first episode is like an hour and a half. The rest of them are 40 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Just the first
That's
one
where
was
I
like
got
a
confused.
double hitter kind of thing. Yeah. It's just the
All right,
first
that's
one.
much easier to consume.
Yeah.
Which I feel bad sometimes when ours are like 2.5 hours. Sorry, guys.
Right? I don't have the patience for that.
It's true. It is hard. I get it. But so, in that interest, they prefer to eat children and pregnant women.
Oh,
I don't
that's
know how to
low.
spoiler alert that one. Yeah. Not spoiler alert, trigger warning that. There's no trigger warning good enough for that.
Yeah. I've never heard something eating pregnant women before. I've heard stuff eating kids. That's like, that's commonplace.
Yeah. We'll get to a slightly more specifically, more to do with the whole vampiric aspect.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's terrible. It's just terrible. It's like preying on the weak.
Yeah.
So more often than not, it will appear as a woman during the day, but it appears as a bird, dog, or a pig at night. So it can definitely sometimes fly, which is why I chose it for our airborne cryptids episode.
Oh, okay.
Um, and most of the pictures that I like that you see of it, it does have giant, big bat-like wings,
Oh, okay.
and like I don't know, if you looked it up yet, but they usually have bat-like wings and at least half a torso. We'll kind of get to it.
At least half a torso. Some of the pictures I saw was it like a dog and then mostly people. That's what Google comes up with, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, again, yeah, it's shape-shifting, so
Yeah.
it can appear as a bunch of different things. So that's kind of interesting too, and how it could stay hidden. But what's kind of like the first one you talked about, the snallygaster, or like a fly, they have like a proboscis, like long protruding tongue,
No.
or proboscis, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's what they use sometimes to suck, up their victims. Like
So gross. I hate that.
Oh, yeah.
Just get rid of that in nature. Sorry, anteater. Goodbye. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like, ugh.
I mean, I think that's probably what, all the insects have to have, and bees. But yeah, I get it. It's so gross. It's so gross.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Oh, no. Oh, you won't like this either.
Oh, great. Can't wait.
They are free. Oh, you have to go to bed after this? Oh, just
Yeah.
wait, no. They are frequently described as having feet that walk backwards.
Oh,
Facing feet.
that's pretty common in like the Philippines and like Asia and stuff. A lot of their
Right,
things.
I have heard it before. Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
have heard it before, but it doesn't get any better. For me, it's always gross. It's like,
Yeah,
ooh.
I don't like that, especially because most of the time when it looks like when people are like trying to follow it or something, it looks like you're following it, but it's like
Yeah.
coming back
Walking
around
away.
like behind you or something. Like it's so creepy. I've watched
Right.
some horror movies where like the main villain is like a possessed thing and it has like it's like a cursed woman that has her feet backwards and it's always so creepy.
Literally, it's what people try to do to trick other people, like in
Yeah.
The Shining or other things where like Danny like walks backwards through his snow footprints so
Yeah.
that you can't tell which way
True.
he's gone. Ew. Yeah. And yeah, they're so gross. So sometimes they're so thin that they can hide behind one bamboo post.
That's impressive.
They're very thin and gross. I don't know, but you hear different descriptions, right? So it's kind of like, to me, I think the appeal of this one must be, now that I'm thinking
Wendigo.
of it, well, that or any of the monsters that you can't always see, or you don't always know exactly what they look like. It's that what the fuck kind of factor where
Yeah.
you're like, I'm terrified because I can't see them. Also, they do have different variants, it would appear, because people in different regions call them, or at least similar things, the tick-tick and the wok-wok, which also have large bird-like forms. So they might be separate cryptids, but it might just kind of be a form of the Aswang.
Okay.
It's kind of, the stories mingle, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's also a Tasmanian devil version called the Zegben. But this guy has also been called the companion cryptid to the Aswang. Him I haven't looked into, which is why I said there's some I could look into with this one that I just don't know that much about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too hard, so I just wanted to make sure my focus was on this guy. Another cool thing, like, it has some unique abilities, and it can transform other matter into other shapes. So it might be a shapeshifter itself, but it can also take plant matter and shape it into a doppelganger of the person it has killed.
Okay. Never heard of that before.
What's that?
I've never heard of that before.
No, I don't think I had either. I was like, what? So I had to clarify to myself, so a fake corpse of its victim.
Yeah.
And this is apparently because they eat their victims and they are trying to cover up the traces of their kill. But also, sometimes they use this skill to shape a doppelganger of a living person. And when this happens, it's also really not good because this person will soon sicken and die.
Oh, well, that's not good.
I know, it seems like it's a preemptive kind of marking of the person almost, yeah. Another skill it has, this reminds me of yours, I think you mentioned a similar skill. Now I'm forgetting which cryptid it was that you talked about, sorry, but trick you with its voice. The Aswang can do.
Oh, okay. That was...
Some voice throwing.
Yeah, there was like...
Maybe you just mentioned it. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Fleetwood's monster kind of screeched at people.
Oh, the
Maybe...
Flatwoods monster. Yes, right.
Yeah.
This one, the Aswang, it can throw its voice in such a way that it sounds like it's getting farther and farther away from you, when in fact it's actually getting closer.
Oh, that's so like Wendigo. Sorry. Just like...
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true. I think now that we've covered that a little bit more, like I can actually recognize that when you say that. I hadn't thought of that before. Well, that kind of thing is just terrifying when they impersonate real people. And even, I know there's some real, apparently some real animals like panthers and stuff, their screams can sound pretty human-like. But still, it's just so creepy.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that before.
Yeah. Okay, so if you want to know, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, its victims, as mentioned, it does like children, pregnant women, and babies. It's really, like I said, preying on the weak, which is horrible. But very weak, it also likes corpses.
Oh. For the blood, or...
I don't know if it's just, that, or because they're, an easy target, because it said they will attend funerals or wakes, and it will also try to find any pregnant women in their bed and use its proboscis to suck the fetus out of the womb.
Ew. Okay. Really don't like that.
Yeah, or to just straight up suck blood out of the victims. Yeah, no, that part's horrifying.
Yeah, I don't like this one bit. Thanks for the nightmares. Like,
he's gross. I don't remember where I first heard this guy, but I thought, ooh, they are terrifying. Why?
Yeah.
Why Philippines? What is with these Asian cryptids that are no? Anywhere other than North America. Not that our cryptids aren't terrifying, but it seems like some of the older folklore is just even weirder.
yeah, that's the thing. That's why I tend to watch a lot of like non-English horror movies and stuff, because I find the ones they do a lot of times are just, it's extra crazy because you just don't, it's not something you can predict because you probably just don't know that much about the history of like that creature or something, that you can't see stuff coming in the movie.
Yeah, and look how often foreign films get remade by Americans. They're like, oh, that's a great idea. The Ring. Oh yeah, The Grudge. Oh sure, yeah. Like, that was awesome. Let's see how we can ruin it.
Yeah.
So, speaking of craziness, there are a few ways one becomes an Aswang. Sorry, I've heard it said so many times, but then when I say it, it sounds weird. Feels weird. One, you can tie a fertilized chicken egg to your stomach.
Okay.
By the way, when I worked with Filipinos, I remember one of them bringing one of those weird egg things to one of the Christmas parties. I If it wasn't a fertilized egg, it was one of those fermented eggs.
It was probably
Black.
like the 1,000-year-old eggs.
Yeah, could
Yeah.
have been the 1,000-year-old egg. It's one of those things that like everybody's drinking and then somebody eats it just to kind of like one of the Filipino guys does just to say that they have. It's not
Yeah.
like, here, I bought a bunch of 1,000-year-old eggs for everyone to snack on. It's like, no, we don't want that, thank you.
Yeah.
Otherwise they made, oh, our Filipino chefs made beautiful dinners. But that shit was terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay, so to get back to it, to become an aswang, you can tie a fertilized chicken egg to your stomach. Once the chick has passed from the egg into your stomach, you must bury the eggshell in the ground in a bamboo tube along with some chicken dung and coconut oil. That gives the person the powers of an aswang.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, at least it's got a easy recipe.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really heard like anything like that where it tells you how to become one.
I know, I feel like that's gotta be to do with the folklore of the region or whatever. It sounds like they're like leaning into their witchy craft side, whereas the further you get west, the more we're like, what? They burned us for saying we did things like that, you know?
Yeah.
We're like, I don't know. Don't get me into like herbology and if that's a real thing outside of the Harry Potter universe. Definitely the kind of things you get tried for witchcraft for.
Yeah.
But another way that an aswang can be created is that a dying aswang can pass on its powers. This is okay. Yeah, no, this is the different way. Because the first way is how you could do it to yourself. Okay. Yeah. It passes on its powers. It can hold its mouth close to the chosen recipient, and the chick, you know, that stomach chick that lives in the aswang's stomach, it just hops over to its new host.
You know.
Goes right in his mouth. And then I guess the aswang dies?
Probably.
It's very strange. However, they do have some weaknesses also. Well, obviously, if they can die. But first, one must identify the aswang. They usually have bloodshot eyes. I mean,
Yeah.
me 30% of the time, especially after I've come home from work.
Yeah. Me all the time right now.
Oh, yeah, any of us trying to do this crazy 40-hour work week bullshit.
Yeah.
Your reflection will also appear upside down in their eyes if you look into them.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. An easy way to tell, because the bloodshot eyes is not really help
Yeah.
us. And also, nor is this third one that much. You can use a special oil called the nope. Alburlarios oil. I could have looked up how to pronounce it, but I don't think it would have helped.
Probably not.
Yeah, this is made of coconuts and holy plants, and this oil will boil when an aswang is near. So, like, maybe just keep a bowl on hand in the kitchen or whatever, just in case an aswang should happen by. They also, like vampires, hate garlic and have an aversion to religious artifacts.
Oh, okay.
They are weakest during the day, and they can be killed by decapitation or by being struck with a whip made from a stingray's tail.
Oh, that's interesting.
I haven't heard that one for vampires.
Yeah.
But
Whip 'em good.
and that's that is my next section is similarity to Western vampires with the kind of the blood sucking and that kind of thing that they do. And as mentioned, they are related to and alike to cryptids called the walk and the tick, which are usually sort of sidekicks or relations to the Aswang, depending what you seem to be reading.
Mm-hmm.
And the Aswang can be a sort of a catch-all for any shapeshifter, really, which I kind of talked about. But the coolest one that it's related to, in my opinion, that I would like to cover later, is the Mananangals. Yep, that could be how you say it.
That sounds
I've only-
familiar.
I've like literally heard one podcast cover it, so I'm like, sure. But it is another cryptid that is like the walk and the Aswang that leaves behind half of its torso when they hunt at night. So that is gross.
Yeah, that's so weird.
That's what I recall. Like, I'm a very visual person, and not what the name of it was in the book that we had as a kid, but that it, like, seemed like a little torso with ribs and then, like, a bunch of dangling entrails. And I'm just like, that's disgusting. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, I vividly remember it. I know I've heard of similar
Just, like,
creatures.
Detachable torso. This is weighing me down for right now.
Yeah. Right, it just seems like the legs and the lower torso. They're like, I don't want to fart. I don't need my legs right. I'm flying. I want to be aerodynamic.
Yeah. Oh,
It's like
weird.
taking off your landing gear. No, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm gonna parachute in.
Right. So, like, yeah, I won't dive into any of those guys too much, but the walk, one of those, is a vampiric bird-like creature in Philippine mythology. In some places, the walk is believed to be instead another form a vampire can take, or it is a familiar belonging to a witch or a vampire. In any case, the sound associated with the walk is considered to be an indicator that an unglu vampire or ungo ghost or monster is nearby.
Weird.
Oh, excuse me. So cool. I love all the different mythology around the world. And the Manananggal is an old mythical creature in the Philippines that separates from their lower part of the body, and their fangs and wings give it a vampire-like appearance. Toad's normal, you know.
Yeah. I just keep thinking of I can't remember what season it was of The Walking Dead. One of the first few with the torso girl and the bicycle.
Oh, any of them that just, they're like half of the person remains or whatever.
Yeah. It's just a zombie, and the one girl was just like dragging herself, and she was just like the torso up and her arms and stuff, and everybody was like talking about it for like a whole year.
Yeah, can you imagine? They portrayed a torso really well. But like they did. I get it.
Yeah.
So for the Aswang, stories date back to as early as the 16th century.
Wow.
Yeah. Spanish explorers made the first written accounts of the Aswang. They said that the natives there were the most terrified of the Aswang of all the creatures they had in their folklore, from what they could figure. They were like, okay, these Filipinos got a lot of folklore, but they really don't like this Aswang.
Yeah.
I don't know why they sound like they come from Brooklyn, okay?
No, yeah.
And the name, I like this, comes from the Sanskrit word asura? Wait, asura? Which means demon.
Oh.
And I guess that's how they get the name for Aswang. I wrote it down, but then now I need more information. No. And the tick tick and the walk walk are named for the sounds they make. Which, and that seemed to be a prevailing thing with the Aswang, is that you're gonna hear some sounds where you're like, are they getting closer? And like, creepy shit like that. Yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine what the tick tick sounds like. I don't like it.
Oh no.
It's probably just a repetitive tapping sound.
Oh, what?
That would be
Included
horrifying.
at least one personal account I could find on the internet at the end here.
Oh God. No!
In the 1960s, Aswang appeared in the book Creatures of the Philippines, Lower Mythology by Maximos Ramos. And there is a documentary called The Aswang Phenomenon. Say that.
Phenomenon.
Aswang Phenomenon. Which, it does look to be available on Prime Video, so we could try and watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it came out in the last couple of years. And then I have some theories and origins that I could find. Interesting. Some theorize that the calls of the Aswang are really just nocturnal bird calls. Bats, Tasmanian devils, and the Kagwang, which are an endangered species of flying lemur. Sorry.
Aw, I love lemurs.
Oh. Yes, and unfortunately these have all been mistaken for Aswang and killed.
No!
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't like that either. 'Cause also, like, bats. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Were they really that much of a danger to you that you had to kill them?
Right? They're like smaller than your head.
Possibly the strangest theory, and I use that term tentatively, for the Aswang is that they could be simply the humans that are suffering from a rare genetic disease, which is called X-linked dystonia Parkinsonism, or XDP.
Okay.
The strange part is XDP almost exclusively affects Filipino men.
Huh.
So, I guess it would make sense if it came about in that region, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Interesting. I've never heard of that at all
No.
before.
I only had in relation to this case. So the symptoms, but yeah, it's associated with Parkinson's, which you might have inferred from the name. But the symptoms can include muscle spasms, contortions, rigidity, slow movement, and tremors. And some people have sort of asserted how the symptoms, when they've watched them, and the tremors can I can't even say it. I'm sorry. I'm having a really hard time. And I've literally heard this on, I think when they covered it on And That's Why We Drink, too. But, like, tremors, contortions, you know, jerky movements, stuff like that, they're saying how, like, it can resemble things that they've seen that might resemble someone turning into an Aswang. The
Okay.
transformation, yes, of someone turning into an Aswang. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's interesting, especially I think because it almost exclusively affects Filipino men.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, that's an interesting aspect, but it's still, it's not necessarily causation.
No.
Yeah, it does seem to come on when you're an adult. It's an adult onset and genetic disorder, so it's passed down through your family, comes on later in life, and the most female carriers are asymptomatic, which I was like, wait, didn't we just say that most of them like to appear as female during the day?
Oh.
It's very confusing. But also I can see how people might latch onto things like that as an explanation. Maybe it's dark and you're seeing someone moving to, you know, and they're jerky and they're shuffling, and because it could affect the way that you walked and your posture and things like that.
Yeah.
So maybe they could think that. But other than that, that's basically the Aswang.
Wow. No, very cool. I never heard of that before.
No.
Yeah.
There's stories, like, honestly, I looked up some, but on, like, Reddit and stuff like that, and there's pretty creepy stories, but, like, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those where, like, maybe people want to check it out on their own and see if they find something.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the Aswang. And that is this episode.
Yes. Thanks for
Thank you
listening.
Jinx.
Uh,
Oh, and I might have mentioned in our last one, or I might have not, but our latest Patreon episode is out, and it is about the Warrens, and they are pretty fascinating. So
Yes.
we had fun. Check it out on our links on our Instagram or on our website.
yeah.
And subscribe and send us that 5-star review.
Yes.
If you can. If not, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. It all makes a friggin' difference.
Yeah, it all adds up.
It's like, hey, somebody's listening. So
Yeah. And next week we're doing another back to an international true crime because we didn't do one for October. So we're taking a trip to Japan.
yeah, we do like to do those.
Yeah.
That can be fun because otherwise you might not stumble across cases that you might not. I don't know how else to put it, I guess, but you're like, oh, okay, what crazy things have happened in Japan? And then you start
Yeah.
Googling, and then it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, mine was definitely holy shit. Like,
Well, that's
Yeah.
always fun. And that's always why I think we end up with 5 pages or,
Yeah.
you know. I think it's good to have an hour-long segment or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially if it's interesting, like it always has been.
yeah.
But anyway, thanks for listening.
Yes.
And till next time.
Yeah. Bye. This has been Castles and Cryptids. You can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Cast, and our YouTube channel. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Reddit. On our website, you can listen to all of our episodes as well as view pictures for each of our segments. Check out our Patreon page to view all of our tiers and become a Patreon supporter today to unlock monthly bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes content. We are working on an Ask Us Anything. You can submit questions by social media or by email at castlesandcryptids@gmail.com. Do you have a spooky ghost story, a creepy cryptid sighting, or a thrilling true crime tale you would like to share and have us include in a future episode? Send us your listener story by social media or by email. Please include the name that you would like mentioned. Our music is by Kobe Fair. Our logo and artwork is by Antonio Garcia. Thanks for listening.